Well, there we go. So we're just waiting for the feed to come up. So good morning, everybody. I imagine people are joining right now. I can't quite see yet because the feed hasn't come up yet. So in the Leaderslive room this morning, we're going to have fun hanging out with and chatting to Leigh Ashton, author of Grow Your People, Grow Your Sales. Fantastic. And Chris James has said good morning already. So the feed's come up. That's brilliant. So that's good. That's brilliant. Good morning, Chris. Yeah, give us a wave, Leigh. Hey, and we've got Birdin in the right-hand corner there. Give us a wave, Birdin. Birdin's our fantastic moderator. Morning, Maria. So Birdin's helping us to get all the comments sorted and moderate the session and chipping in and keeping us in the flow, folks. So whether it's your morning, whether it's your afternoon, whether it's your evening, wherever you are in the world, welcome to this week's Interactive Leaders Live on a Wednesday. It's normally on a Tuesday, but we're on a Wednesday today. And it's 6 weeks till spring. Yay!
Yay!
Hey, can't wait. And that was music by my Uncle Peter. So this is the 38th show as well, folks. So, fantastic that we've been growing this community for so long, since May actually. We're going weekly since then. Feels really exciting. And guess what? We've got podcasts on the go as well. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. So please let us know if our audio's coming through okay. So good morning, Maria. Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Julia. Good morning, Andrew. Good morning, Say. It's great to see you all. And I'm sure more will be joining us. I can't quite see the feed yet, but I'm hoping it'll come up very shortly. So in fact, there we go. So lovely. Okay. Yeah. Super duper.
Good morning, everyone.
We're all on. Yeah, good morning to you. Let's bring you in. So where is my, there we go. So morning, how you doing?
Hi, I'm doing really well. I'm so excited to be here. This is my first kind of live like this for a really long time.
A really long time. Well, that's great. Great to have you on the show. Brilliant that we're hanging out with you. So so it's we're live, people, spreading the love, yappa dabba do. And as usual, we're streaming out on LinkedIn, we're streaming out on Facebook. Come to you in a minute, Leigh. We're streaming out on a couple of Facebook groups, Twitter. Ta-da!
Wow!
Ta-da! Yeah, it's all groovy stuff, isn't it? So, as I said, breaking news this week, we're on podcasts. I'll tell you a bit more about that. We're on Anchor FM and we're on Spotify as well now, so you can listen to that whilst you're in the car, on the train, catching up while cooking, doing the ironing, whatever. So that gives you more reasons to listen in. If you're new to Leaders Live, say hello in the comments as you're doing. Good morning to everybody. We'd love to hear from you. And remember too, it's an interactive show, folks. So please let us know, you're on, get involved with us, join in, ask us questions, network with the live community. You know how it goes, folks. So this morning I'm hanging out with Leigh Ashton, author of Grow Your Sales, Grow Your People, Grow Your Sales. And I've really enjoyed getting to know Leigh. She's highly engaging CEO and founder of the Sales Consultancy as well. Lots of strings to your bow, Leigh, and a coaching expert as well, Leigh. My gosh, is there no end to this lady's talent? So how's things for you this morning then, Leigh?
Yeah, very good. I've had one of my herbal teas and then I've got real PG tips. So I'm good. I'm
You're
really
ready
good.
to go. Brilliant. PG tips. Well, there we are. So Leigh has a passion for extraordinary sales conversations around growing your people, to grow your sales, and that's the title of her new book that we'll be chatting about today. So let me just change the scene. So moderator wise, we've got Birdin Hugo in the room today, and Birdin's dialing in from South Africa, so she's got internet problems this morning, so hopefully it'll all stay up like these pieces of string do. But welcome, Birdin, and Birdin's here to keep us on the straight and narrow and keep the comments flowing, so that's great. So Birdin, we'll kind of keep coming back to you, and I'll come back to you in just a tick as well, Leigh. So morning, Graham Rose. Paul Winfield, good morning.
I have to ask.
Yeah.
I know someone called Paul Winfield. Are you the Paul Winfield that I know?
Well, Paul Winfield
Please put a comment in the chat.
He's a paramedic, and he's on the canal towpath this morning. So
Oh
there we go.
no, the Paul Winfield I know definitely is not a paramedic. So
Okay,
another
okay.
Paul Winfield.
So there you go, another Paul Winfield, and we've got one from Carol Baker as well. PG tips are the best, someone says. I can't quite see who's saying that at the moment. I'll come back to that comment in a moment. Super. So, as I've mentioned, Leaders Live is an interactive show, folks. So please join in, network with us, use the comments for questions, engage with us, and remember it's a group conversation. So, quick tease. Going to come back to you in a minute, Leigh. Quick tease. Remember that famous line in The Wolf of Wall Street? Sell me this pen. Sell me this pen. How would you answer this, folks? Birding will put that question in the chat, and we'll see as we're going along. So we'd love to know, how you would do that, and while you're listening to this intro. And don't be shy, folks. You know what to do. So right, Leigh and I will chat about why good people make magic happen, and how growth mindset development is the route to future success. We're also going to explore, why is growing your people more important than ever for your customers today? And why has COVID-19 and these rapidly changing times made us all more emotionally aware? It's not just the pandemic, folks, but we'll talk to Leigh about that. She's got some theories on that. And we'll also be diving into Leigh's brand new book, Grow Your People, Grow Your Sales. We're going to talk about what is the valley and how do you keep yourself out of it? Ooh. How do your thoughts impact your results? And how do you navigate out of the comfort zone? We've got a TFAR exercise, whatever that is. So we'll be looking at that too. So I don't know the answers to that, but Leigh will tell us all. So put it all together, and what have you got? Yeah, you've got it. Bibbity bobbity boo. So right, okay. Quick word on Leaders Live while we just before we get going. So if you're new to the show, you don't know me, I'm Andrew Jenkins. Smash those likes for us, folks, and those thumbs up. We'd really appreciate that. It keeps us motivated. You know how it goes. And please, would you please subscribe to my YouTube channel? Birding will have the link in the comments right now. This is really hard work growing YouTube channels. That any of you have tried it, it's blinking hard work. So we'd really appreciate your help on that too. So back to Leigh, and just before you begin, let's just give you a round of applause. Oh, I love this scene. Spread the love, Leigh, spread the love. What a groovy build-up, hey? Can't beat that for a build-up. Yeah, okay. So, question for you, Leigh. Kick us off. You've got a couple of questions for the audience. Do you want to take it away for us, Leigh?
Yes, I think that for any interaction, whether you're listening to a podcast or you're at a live event or a Zoom virtual, there is one thing you should always ask yourself before you start, and that is, what do you want to get out of this time? Because the more I know about what you want to get out of this time, the easier it is for me to deliver something that's of real value to you. Okay. So if you can put your outcome for being here this morning in the chat as they come up, I'll look at those and I will share examples that are much more aligned with what people want to get out of the session. So that's the first question. And the second question might help you with the first question. But the second question is, what are the sales activities that you avoid, that you know that if you embrace them or you mastered them would actually increase your success in this area of your life? So you may avoid it totally. You may have a very good avoidance strategy, which means that you never do it because you say things like, oh, I haven't got time, I've got to do other things, I've got other priorities. Or you might half-heartedly do them and get disappointed with the result. So if I know about those things, then I'll share, when I'm talking about the various things I'm going to talk about today, I will share some ways of helping you overcome that.
Yeah, thank you, Leigh. I think for me, I just think Chris James is on this show as well. I'd be interested to what he comes up with as well. But for me, it's that kind of pipeline and the database discipline that you've got to have to grow those lead generations, and that's for me is really one of the hard things. But I'm sure other people will have other parts to that. So, let's dig into some questions. Let's talk about, the theme of your book. Why is growing your people more important than ever to your customers? And we'll come back to the comments shortly because there's a slight delay in the comments. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So take it away, Leigh.
Okay. In the old days, when sales first became a profession, and I'm talking about, even before, we were born, sales was a very honourable profession. You were serving people, you were helping people to buy products or services that was going to help them get from where they are to where they wanted to be. So over the time or over the decades, sales became very numbers oriented. So organisations started pushing people to deliver sales. It was all about pushing services and products onto people. And that still has some remnants in 2020. Big organisations are still pushing their salespeople and the sales leaders and anyone in the organisation to deliver, 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 deliver. And under that pressure, sometimes people make decisions to deliver instead of serving the customer. And so my belief is that if you develop the person to deal with the pressure, to be more resilient, to really care about the people that are your customers, then they will always make the right decision that is right for them, it's right for the customer, and it's right for the business.
Yeah.
So it is my belief that improving a person is always going to generate more sales. And there was a study done by Harvard Business Review. They took 200 pieces of research.
Wow.
And what they found was that happy salespeople, or happy people generally, generate 37% more sales and are 4 times more creative and 31% more productive.
Wow.
So it's like, if you keep your team happy, and that doesn't mean being soft and fluffy and letting them get their own way all the time, but if they're happy on the inside, then they're going to be more productive and you are going to generate more sales, and your customers are going to be happier because they're getting exactly what they need instead of the thing that gets them more commission or the thing that the company are pushing at that time and putting pressure on the salesperson to, no, we're pushing this line this month. We don't want you to get any other products sold. This is what we want you to sell this month.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? I love those stats. 37% more sales, 8% more, 30% more productivity, 400% more creative if only
No,
we are...
4%, darling.
Oh, 4%, right, okay. 4% more creative. Well, that's still, 4% is every little bit makes a difference, doesn't it? Yeah, let's give you a break for a minute and let's just let the, let's bring up the moderator scene. I'm just trying to find it. Here we go. So, Bertie, what's going on in the chat? So, give Leigh a bit of a break for now. What's going on in the chat? Let's have a look.
Andrew just mentioned, I know the feeling regarding YouTube channels. I've just restarted my channel and it takes me about 20 attempts to get the profile right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Andrew. Right. Yeah.
Okay, and then on the question, what are the sales activities that you avoid? Julia said presentations and public speaking.
Yeah.
Carol said lack of time in trying to follow everything up.
Yeah, morning, Carol, by the way, and morning, Andrew.
Paul said knowledge and perception.
Yeah.
Andrew said public speaking and knowledge. Chris said, I'm nervous to ask Leigh to run a session for my SDRs.
He's a sweetheart, isn't he? There you go.
Sweet talker.
Sweet talker. There you go, Chris. I'm
Sweet
sure.
Talker, that one.
I'm sure you can sort that out between you. Yeah. Anything else, Bertie?
Joe said, what she wants to gain. I'd love to gain more knowledge, especially how things have changed in sales over the past 2 years.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's a really interesting one. We're going to come to that next, actually, Jo,
Yeah.
because that's quite important, isn't it? This Kathy's just come up with this as well? What's going on there? Is that Kathy's comment?
Kathy said sales is still honorable when it's about understanding needs or pain points and helping to solve them. Pushing them when there is no pain or need is mis-selling.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, well said.
Yes.
Yeah.
Paul said, I'm here to gain knowledge and understand perceptions.
Brilliant.
Then Jo just commented on what you said, Leigh. So she said that is true. Organization leads don't listen even when they ask how a salesperson is doing. It is always about the bite rather than the nurture.
Oh, what do you reckon, Leigh? Always about the
I
bite
think,
rather.
well, one of the things that you have to remember with sales leaders is that they're normally the most successful of salespeople. So they are the top performers generally get promoted to being a sales leader. And it's a very different skill set. Generating high volume of sales is not the same as nurturing a group of people to bring out the best in them. And I honestly believe that sales leaders are the most neglected of any role in an organization when it comes to development. People will just assume, or organizations assume, that they know exactly how to do it because they got sales in and they want other people to get sales in.
Yeah.
And so I do think that they're doing the best they can, but they don't know any different because they haven't had the development unless they have chosen off their own back to go and get that development. And that will only be 10% of any, probably of the population, but there's a rule in sales called the 10-80-10 rule,
Oh,
where the 10% at the top are naturally growth mindset. They're driven, they're outcome focused. And it wouldn't matter if Mickey Mouse was their sales leader because they don't actually need a sales leader, they lead themselves.
Yeah.
These are the guys that probably end up being sales managers.
Yeah.
And sales leaders. And then you've got the 10% at the bottom who've checked out. They've decided maybe the job isn't for them anymore, and or they feel a bit violated, or they're just not in, their heart's not in it anymore. And you can't really help these guys. They have to, and when I say guys, I mean guys and girls.
Yeah.
When they have to decide either to commit and stay, and take responsibility for their results, or leave and find a job that gives them joy. Now it's the 80% in the middle where the big growth is, because these guys in the middle really want to succeed, but they haven't got the natural growth mindset. They haven't got that natural drive. They haven't got the self-belief or confidence in all situations. They can have it in some, because there's like situational confidence is different from core confidence. And they will have these aspects that need leadership, that needs direction, not directions. So it's like they need someone who's going to nurture and support them for them to grow. And if you're thinking you can have a team of 10 percenters, here's a reality check. It's impossible. Why is that? Because everyone in life is on different chapters of their journey. And the guys at the top have done many chapters and have learned from experience and learned from mistakes. So you will never get a team of 10 percenters because you're always recruiting new people, you're developing new people. What you're looking for is to get them from the chapter that they're at to the next chapter.
Ooh, I like that.
That's the job of a leader, is not to make the person at chapter 5 make them like a chapter 50, because you can't get to chapter 50 without doing all the chapters in between.
Doing the hard work
because
in between.
each chapter gives you the knowledge and the wisdom to be ready for the next chapter.
Love that step-by-step approach. Really love that. That's really beautiful. Let's just give you a break for a minute. Let's just catch up with some of the comments here. So over to you, Berdine.
Julia said value and customer service is key. Good researchers too.
Yeah, spot on. Yeah, on with that one.
Then Chris commented, he said, so true. Salespeople are taught outcome selling and not how can I make a difference to the customer.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're told to get the results and this is how to do it, where actually if you give them an outcome, they can sort it out themselves. Leigh, is that where you would come from?
Some people can. People are outcome driven naturally because they have that psychological preference, but the alternative to that preference is procedural. So those salespeople need a process to follow, and they're less outcome driven, but as long as they've got a winning process, they will get the outcome. Do a more procedure, so you've got procedural at one end and options at the other.
Spot on. Yeah, different ways of motivating, right?
Yes. So these procedural guys need a solid framework to follow. They're less able to swerve with the punches, because the process if a customer throws them a curveball, they'll carry on with the process even if it's not actually the best thing to do. Whereas options people, if you try to get your options people to follow a process, well, good luck with that, because they don't. They're focused on the outcome, and they might use elements of the process, and they might even use the process, but not in the order that it was created. But they will always, if they get a curveball, they will be able to bend and flex. But everyone has these personality types that these are hardwiring. We all have them. And as once you know what your hardwiring is, then you just create strategies to work around them.
Yeah. And the key here is that I love that actually, because different people are motivated by different things. There are options or procedures or specific detail or big picture. Some people are moving towards goals, some people move away from problems. So it's working out as a sales leader and coaching your staff around not just how you would do stuff, but what is going on inside them. Where's their hardwiring? You've just said, Leigh. Love that. Love that. Yeah. Let's Berdine, what else is going on? Take us through some of the comments here so we can catch up.
Joe said 100% develop the person and give them time, not pressure.
Yeah, spot on. Yeah, Joe's involved in sales in printing, so that's there's a lot going on sales wise there, and in the digital world that's quite a tough sell. So I spoke to Joe the other day. Good morning to you, Maria. My mate Maria, how you doing, Maria?
Maria asked, how do I keep going back to potential customers without it feeling pressurized for the customer?
Oh, that is such a great question, Maria. Can I answer that?
Yeah, please do.
Yeah. Please do. Honestly, whenever I talk to a prospect, I never ever leave the conversation without asking them, when shall I get back to you? When shall I get back to you? And they tell me when to get back to them. And if you're in rapport, they always will. They say, well, give me 2 weeks and get back to me. And so when you do go back 2 weeks later, you say, you asked me to get in touch with you in 2 weeks. Hey, guess what? It's 2 weeks later. Who can believe that? So always leave a conversation. And when I say conversation, it could be on any kind of online, email. When would you like me to get back to you? Because otherwise you are taking a guess at when is the right time. So if you want to know when to call them back, ask them. As simple as that.
Yeah, and that key bit there, Leigh, you just popped into a sentence there. If you've got enough rapport with somebody, that question becomes absolutely right, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And the key is the rapport as well as asking the question, when shall I get back to you?
Yeah. Okay. It's really interesting. A great example is I had a meeting with a sales leader, and as we were leaving, he said, well, this is great, Leigh, I've got to do this. And he gave me this whole list of things that he wanted to do to push the proposal forward. And I said, okay, so when shall I get back to you? Thinking he was going to say, give me a month, because it sounded like such a big list of things.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, give me 2 or 3 days. So even that, so your own perception will be biased in some way. It's much better to ask the person because they know how much time they need and you don't.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. I hope that answers that question. Other questions, Berdine? Take us through what else is going on.
Graham Rose asked, how does self-image of the salesperson impact sales results?
Oh,
Hugely, hugely,
yeah.
Graham.
That's a brilliant question, isn't it? That.
Yeah. If you believe that you're not able to do something, then you're sending a message to your mind that you can't do it. So your mind actually doesn't attempt to. The mind is really complex, but it's also very simple. If you have a belief, even though you have created that belief, your mind will treat it as a rule. You
Yeah.
told me that, your mind doesn't cut like go and give you a slap and say, don't be ridiculously. You know you can do that. You've done it a million times. And also the mind negates examples of where you have done it
Yeah. For
because
negative.
because it isn't aligned with your belief. So it goes, oh, that's a fluke. Let's not file that in the success pocket. That's just an oddball thing that's just happened
Brilliant. Yeah.
because it's not aligned. You're actually, everything you say, even out loud, internally, it like your unconscious mind is eavesdropping on that dialogue.
Isn't that true?
And
Yeah, that kind
yeah,
of limiting belief, those inner mind chatter things, how we talk to ourselves is really important. Does Chris James says Rose mindset? There must be a joke in that somewhere.
No, he's responding to Graham's question.
Okay, okay, I'm with you.
Yes,
I'm with you.
yes.
Thank you. Okay, what else is going on? So
No
Kathy's got a
problem.
comment here.
Uh,
Yeah.
yes, sales also needs a well-researched and executed go-to-market strategy. If this isn't done, then the sales team will miss opportunities and face barriers that haven't been prepared for.
Okay. Yeah, that sales marketing mix, Leigh.
yeah, the more sales and marketing speak to each other, the better. Because
Yeah.
honestly, some great CEOs I know actually have sales and marketing in the meeting, in the
Yeah.
sales, because marketing can't deliver what sales needs unless it really understands what's going on in sales. Now, you can have a go to market strategy that is totally not worth the paper it's written on. So, so there are elements of that, Joe, that I don't totally agree with because I'm very much the believer that even a go to market strategy is theory until you get out in the field and see the reactions and gather the reactions of everybody. You even that the perfect go to market strategy can be blown out of the water and you have to start again because nobody thought of that reaction. So
Yeah.
I think it's always good to do a little bit, have like a structure of a go to market strategy and then test it out and then tweak it. The go to market strategy is like a live and evolving beast.
Yeah, it's
And
iterative
it
and
changes.
yeah, and feedback from the sales team can really help that too. But the strategy thing is absolutely right, isn't it? Being well researched, but actually be prepared to change as well along the way, I
Yes.
guess, Leigh.
You
Right,
have to be flexible, and the last 2 years have really shown that to be true.
right.
There are 5 characteristics. I call them the 5 keys to success. All successful people are very good at these 5 things, and they're all different personalities. You haven't got to be a certain personality type to be successful, but the 5 things are: know your outcome, be really clear about the outcome that
Know
you
the
want.
outcome. Yeah,
The second is take action because lots of people are really good at clarifying the outcome, but are too afraid to take the first step, or they won't take a step until they think they've thought of everything. Just take any step, even if it's wrong. You'll get you off the starting block. So clarify your outcome, take action, then be aware. Be aware of the impact that your action has had. Is it moving you closer to what you want, or is it moving you away from what you want? The fourth one is be flexible. If your actions are not getting you where you want to be, then do something else and keep doing something else until you get on the trajectory that you want in terms of your outcome. And the fifth one, which feeds into all of them, is rapport. Make sure that you have rapport with every single person who has any impact at all in the success of that outcome. So that could be all the other departments, or, you know, as well as the customers. You know, everyone knows you should have rapport with customers, but how about the guy that does the packing in the warehouse? You know, if he hates you, then, you know, really, you know, if you've been horrible or nasty to him, or disrespectful, or just ignored him as like not important, then that will have an impact on you getting your outcome. So be kind to everybody, be in rapport with everybody. Everyone is doing a job to get the outcome. Everyone, if you're a business owner, everyone in your business is doing a job to get you to where you want your business to go. If you work in an organization, all the other departments that support you are doing their job to get the organizational outcome. I can't tell you how many organizations I've worked with where sales don't like marketing, or they don't like tech, or they don't like the design, you know, and as soon as they learn about rapport and being nice to each other, everything changes miraculously.
Funny that, isn't it?
Strange?
Yeah. So resistance is always a sign of a lack of rapport, right? So that's just something that I learned once. I want to move on a little bit, but I just want to bottom some of these comments as well. So back to you, Berdine. What else is going on? Let's just see if we can bottom some of these other comments coming through.
Just quickly, first of all, good morning, Jack.
Yeah, good morning, Jack.
Jack
Great
said
to see
he's
you.
a bit late. Then Julia said that she totally agrees. Jack said people buy from people.
Yeah, spot on. Yeah. Yeah.
And Kathy said she says that all the time. So great stuff. Chris said there's two types of sellers. One, I'm going to smash my target. Brilliant. And two, by working with us, what difference or value can I bring to the customer? As a buyer, who would you want to call you?
Yeah.
You want to make a difference, right? Yeah, got it. Yeah,
for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks.
That
Joe
creates
said great
ethical
question.
selling.
Yeah. Well,
definitely.
Great question, Chris. Yeah.
Graham said always leave a key conversation to get back into the room. Then Paul commented, I like to swim in unpolluted waters.
I wonder what that means. Yeah. Paul,
yes, I'm curious about that. What's the backstory, Paul?
Yeah, do tell us, Paul. We'd love to hear. Yeah. And Joe says...
Joe said, I completely get you. Sometimes the mind says no, don't pick up the phone. They're going to say no. I gave myself a size 6 kick to get the phone picked up, sometimes with the best results.
Yeah, it's facing facing ourselves, isn't it, Leigh?
And you do have to remember there's no salesperson on the planet that has 100% conversion.
Yeah.
So, you know, you are going to get no's. That's just part of the industry that we've chosen to be in. You know, and they're not saying no to you in any case. And you just could have called them at the wrong time. If you called them in a month, they'd never remember that you called them the month previous, you know, because they've forgotten you as soon as they've put the phone down.
Yeah.
So seriously, you know, you are going to get no's. So just pick up the phone and know that each time you get a no, you're one closer to a yes.
Yeah, and I suppose if some of the stats are, 9 out of 10 say no, then at least that's another no off the list, right? So that's, you know, I'm getting closer to that 1% of people, that 10% of people that say yes. Okay, yeah, thanks for that. Right, what else have we got, Berdine?
Cecile's got a question. She asked, can marketing and sales work together as partnership?
Ooh, good question. Yeah.
I believe that they can,
Yeah.
Cecile, because they both want the same thing.
Yeah.
They want one wants to generate leads and the other wants to close those leads and create sales. So there's a unity that actually ties them together. And if they're working like closely like this, they're more likely to both reach their outcome. And that's like a growth mindset attitude. Whereas a fixed mindset would be like, we're marketing and they're sales, or vice versa. You do what you do. Like when I first got into sales, we used to get leads that marketing generated, and all the salespeople used to moan about the quality of the leads.
Oh,
But
yeah.
these are crap. What a waste of time. You take 2 hours to drive to a place and they're not really that interested. But I always thought, oh my word, this is like a piece of gold. It's
Yeah.
my job is to make it convert. Thank you. This is like a bit of cold calling that I haven't got to do now.
Yeah.
So I always thought of it as something to treasure. But not all salespeople do, because they don't, marketing is the faceless organization, isn't it? The faceless department. So yes, I do think that they can work really well together, and have seen them working very well together in many places.
Yeah, and Graham just challenges this, just says, where is he? Is this a marketing conversation or a sales event? That's an interesting question. I think what we're doing is teasing out the very close relationship between marketing and selling, and sales can't do well without the marketing strategy being behind it, I guess, Leigh. Just to answer your question there, Graham. Okay.
And anyone that has a separate marketing department, well, you salespeople count yourself lucky, because any organisation that hasn't got a separate marketing department means that the salespeople are doing the marketing and the sales.
Right, so doing both. Okay, and there's a
You're
very
doing
close.
both, yeah.
Yeah,
You
there's a
have
very
to
close
generate your own
relationship.
leads.
Yeah, very. These days it's even closer, right? So that's
Yeah,
the reason why you almost can't extricate marketing from sales now, because the two are becoming so close
I
together.
think so.
So
I
that
think
that,
so.
that was really the point there, Graham. Let's dive into your fab book, Leigh, a little bit more. Let's talk about the valley in your book. Talk to us about what is that, Leigh.
So the valley is the place that people go to when things are not going exactly as they'd like.
Yeah,
So
for
if you
salespeople, right?
imagine, or anyone, the
Right.
valley is all walks, it's in every aspect of our lives. So if you imagine yourself at the bottom of the valley, and the sides are high, you can't see the landscape because you're deep down below it.
Yeah.
And the language you're likely to be using to yourself or to others who are in the valley with you is, oh, there's just not enough time. Oh, it's really hard right now. Nobody wants to listen.
Yeah.
The COVID has affected the business. People just aren't spending any money. These reasons and excuses that you use that make you feel better about the results that you're achieving. So when you're there on your own is one thing, but when there's a few of you in there, it's like you're saying, oh, it's really hard. Yes, I know. You all reinforce each other. It's
Okay.
really tough right now, isn't it?
Right.
We haven't been able to get to the same level of sales as pre-COVID, or you can't get the staff. There's all of these things, and you reinforcing the fact that it's no one's fault, but it's someone else's fault. No one in the valley ever thinks it's their fault. It's someone else out there,
Yeah.
or a situation out there, but it's nothing to do with me. And when you do that, it's like crossing your arms. And even though you want something,
Yeah.
it's really unlikely that you get it unless you're an order taker. We call people in sales order takers, who don't really have to work for the sale. Phone rings, they pick it up, they take the order, and then they put the phone down, and then the phone rings again.
Nice.
So but it's also true in your life, in like your health or your finances or anything. You can use this analogy. So that's one. You're in the valley. So imagine yourself now at the top of the valley. You can see the landscape. You can see all the options available to you. Now, when you're at the top of the valley, it doesn't negate what you were thinking in the bottom of the valley. You know, I haven't got enough time could be a very valid reason for you not getting around to the things that you want to do. But when you're at the top of the valley, you ask yourself the question. So you acknowledge that you haven't got enough time, and then you ask yourself this golden question. Please write this down. What am I going to do about it?
Okay.
I haven't got enough time. What am I going to do about it? Things aren't the same as pre-COVID. What am I going to do about it?
Okay, I need better salespeople. What are we going to do about it? I need better marketing
Haven't given me any good leads.
Yeah.
What am I going to do about it?
Yeah.
I haven't got enough sales in this month. What am I going to do about it? My pipeline's too small. What am I going to do about it? You take responsibility for the challenge that you have, and then that leads to you taking back your power, because when you're in the bottom of the valley, you give your power to the thing that you think is the problem.
Yeah.
You're a victim of that thing or that other person or people.
Yeah.
When you're at the top of the valley, you take back your power and go, okay, well, I may not have enough time. So what am I going to do? So say you wanted to get to the gym. I'm going to get up earlier, or I'm going to go to the gym on the way home so that I don't go home.
Yeah.
Because I know that if I go home, I won't go.
Gym. Yeah.
So you can use this concept in so many different ways, and really take back ownership of your results. And it takes courage to do that. I understand why people go in the valley, because it's much easier to blame something else, but successful people don't stay in the valley.
Okay.
That's the difference between someone who's successful and not. The people that are not successful will be in the valley most of the time. The people who have some modicum of success, but not always, will be in the valley some of the time, and some of the time they'll be out of it. But people who are truly successful, they might say, oh man, I haven't got enough time for this. Okay, so what am I going to do about it? But in the same breath.
Okay, so folks, good challenge for you guys. Where are you at the moment? Are you in the valley, or are you at the hilltop and looking down? So, and it sounds like if we're in the valley, then it's all about victim mindset, isn't it? We're blameless, we're powerless, aren't we?
Very much so.
And
now, I have a belief.
Yeah.
I have a belief that might help you with this.
Okay.
That if you like it, then you can take it on and try it for size. My belief is that nobody. Let me just rewind. We create everything that happens in our lives by the actions we choose to take and the actions we choose not to take, because even that has a consequence.
Yeah.
So when something happens to me that isn't like totally great, or could be downright bloody awful, I don't think to myself, oh, why has this happened to me?
Yeah,
I ask myself, what did I do that contributed to this happening?
Okay, yeah, why did this happen to me? And take responsibility for it, do something different.
Well, not why did this happen to me? That's a different question to what did I do that contributed to this? Because when you take ownership of the part you played, it is much better to heal from that incident or that whatever it is that's going on.
Take the bitter pill, swallow it, learn from it, Leigh. Is that right?
Yeah. So I don't believe people choose to be in a bad place.
No.
And I don't think something happened to them because they were a wicked or bad person or anything like that. Stuff just happens in life.
Yeah, stuff happens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you just have to take ownership of your bit.
Yeah, and just to give you a break there, Berdine, I think Jo said this, hasn't she? I think.
Yeah.
I must admit, I bounce between the valley and the top. Yeah, I mean, it's truthful, isn't it? It's spot on, Jo.
We all do.
We all do. Yeah, we all do. And Andrew says at the moment, that's where he is. He's in the valley. So, yeah, it's a toughie, isn't it? And then Paul's come up with this beauty here and says, reframe it. Why has this happened to me? Actually, what you're saying, Leigh, is that understand what's happened and then take control of it, right?
Yeah, the why
Yeah.
is a very judgmental question. So
Yeah.
you could say, "Why has this happened to me?" Oh, it's because I'm a bad
Why
person,
does
or
this always happen to
I'm
me?
useless. I'm useless at
Yeah.
this X, Y, or Z. You know, it's very judgmental. So it may lead to a more negative place where, when you ask, "What have I done that's
Or how have I
contributed
got
to this?"
here? Yeah.
Yeah, then that's a much more practical.
Yeah, it's good spot. Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, Paul, for that comment. It's really helped us to think that through. My mate Carol Baker, morning Carol, says this: fab advice, Leigh. You have really changed my perspective and mindset. You have just shown the path out of the valley. Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, remember that pathway was one, think about the outcome. Secondly was take action. Thirdly was be aware of the impact. Measure, take some measurements, take some stock. Fourthly was be flexible, and I think fifthly was always be in rapport. And my mate Carol, she's always in rapport with people. And
Bless you, Carol. We need more people like you.
yeah, and Paul says, for me, not me. Yeah, okay, thanks, Paul. Okay, so yeah, now you talked about this thing in your book called TFAR. Does that help us to come out of the valley here? That model that you talked about?
Well, TFAR
Yeah.
is different to the valley
Okay.
because so it's your thoughts create your feelings that then create the action that you take that then give you the result that you get.
Okay.
So most people are not aware of their trigger thoughts simply because it's often very unconscious. So I'm going to just do a quick exercise with you all on the show today so that you can get a real experience of this and how easy it is to shift your thinking in a way that will really empower you to do something different. And you can use this in all areas of your life, in
Brilliant.
business, sales,
Yeah.
health, finance, anything.
Yeah, and
So
Paul says this, just for a minute. I've just realised what he said here, Paul. This is quite profound. Just picking up what you just said there, Leigh. For me, not to me. Right. This is what this exercise
yeah,
helps to do. Spot on, Paul. All right, go on, Leigh. Carry on. Sorry.
so think about something that you are really good at that you love to do, and it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be a massive thing. It could be you make the best carrot cake on the planet. You'd have to be in a fight with my sister because I think hers is bloody amazing, but but honestly, think of something. It can be really a small thing. You're really good at gardening, you're good at running, anything, just pick, but it has to be one specific thing for the exercise.
There
Just
you
pick
go, folks.
one thing.
One thing you're good at, you love doing.
All right. Okay. So I want you to think about yourself doing that thing that you love to do and that you know that you are good at. And just in the chat, could you quickly put the feeling that you notice in your body when you imagine yourself about to do that thing?
Oh, nice.
So,
Yeah.
and there's no right or wrong answer here because we have no idea what your thing is. So the word will be appropriate for whatever the activity is for you.
Yeah.
You can pick any activity. So
For
just
mine,
need about 3 examples before I go ahead.
okay. So for me, it's about feeling in the flow. So there's a fourth one. You
So
take a
there's
little bit of time for the feed to come through. So
okay.
yeah, what's the
All
feeling
right.
that you get with that good memory, that good picture? Okay.
Admiration.
Admiration,
Lovely.
inspired. Yeah.
Inspired. Perfect. So what you'll see as the feed
Yeah.
rolls up is that all of the feelings are positive feelings because I've been doing this exercise for like 20 years, so I know that everybody responds with a positive feeling.
Yeah.
So you've got this positive feeling, determined.
Determined. Spot on. Nice one, Andrew.
So I didn't ask you what the trigger thought was because sometimes we don't know what they are, but we always have access to the
To the feeling,
feelings
the
in our body.
sensation. Yeah.
Yeah, look, excited, elated, brilliant. So
Yeah.
you've got
Nice one, Jack.
a positive feeling in the body can only be triggered by a positive thought. You can't have a negative thought triggering a positive feeling. So you have a positive thought which triggers that positive feeling in the body, which means that the action you take is laser focused because every cell in your body wants to do that thing. Every part of you, it's like a whole body action. And because it's a laser focused action, you get a really good result that reinforces the trigger thought that you're good at this. So you get this positivity loop that is a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Love that.
So every time you do that activity, you're always going to get a good result.
Love that. And
so scrub that, because there's another part of the exercise. Did you have a question, Andrew?
Yeah, I was going to say you could do that as a double loop as well, Leigh. So you could look at, okay, what's gone wrong? You know, why am I in the valley, or what's happened for me to be in the valley?
Well, let me do the next part of the exercise.
Okay, groovy, go for it.
Okay. So now scrub that and think about something that you're not so good at.
Okay.
Think about something like maybe that you're avoiding, or every time you do it, it doesn't go so well. And it could be the thing that I asked you right at the beginning. Like, what sales activity are you avoiding? And I want you to notice what feeling you get in your body as you imagine yourself doing this activity. So, when you think of that thing, what do you feel in your body?
So this is the bad thing, right? The negative inner
Well,
chatter
not
piece.
the bad thing, but you think it's bad. You think it's bad, but it's not. Heavy-headed.
Spot on.
And people, the kind of words that people come up with are dread. And not in like I feel sick.
Heavy stomach, whatever.
Frustrated,
says Andrew.
That's one that comes up so much, Andrew. So you've got this negative feeling in the body that's triggered by the negative thought, and the negative thought could be something like, oh, do I really have to do this? Oh, why do I have to do this? Can't somebody else do this? And so you've got this negative thought that creates this negative feeling. And something very interesting happens when you get that happening. Or, it's like a dance, like part of you wants to do it and part of you is pulling back. So there's this tension that sends your energy in all different directions. And when that occurs, it is impossible for you to do a laser focused action because there's only part of you that actually wants to do the thing.
The thing.
There's a whole host of energy pulling back, and the power that is pulling back is actually more powerful than the power moving forward. And that means that when you do the action, you get at best a mediocre result that reinforces your trigger thought that you are not so good at this. And then you get a loop of negativity, which becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Every time that you have this thought. So this is the remedy, and it's very, very simple. If this is the thing that you are wanting to do and you have this negative association with it, and this is you, I want you, when you notice that feeling in your body, to stop and take a couple of deep breaths. There's no point in doing the activity because it's not going to be the best version of you that shows up to do that activity. So say, for example, you don't need to have the exact wording for whatever's in your unconscious mind, so this negative feeling, say it's like frustrated. And the trigger thought is, why isn't this easier? Just make up the trigger thought. Or, why do I struggle with this? Why can't I complete this? So that's the trigger thought. And this is one perspective. This is your perspective of this situation. But get this, and this is really important. There are 360 other perspectives that you could choose from. You have chosen to stand in this position. So When you notice that uncomfortable feeling in your body, you consider what the trigger thought could be, and then you come up with 5 or 6 alternative trigger thoughts that you could have. So it could be, every time I do this, I get better at doing this.
Yeah, every day,
Every
every
time
week.
I do this, I get the feedback I need to know what to tweak. Every time I do this, I learn. Every time I do this, I get a brownie point for stepping out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
You know, you can come up with so many different things.
Give myself a
And
tap
then
on the back. Yeah.
So you come up with about half a dozen things, and
Yeah.
then you think, which one do I resonate with the most?
Today, yeah.
And then when you think, well, I resonate more with, every time I do this, I get a brownie point for stepping out of my comfort zone. Or every time I do this, I grow.
Yeah.
And then you just see, how does that feel in my body? Now, you may not be ecstatic to do the activity, but if it's neutral or better, then that's really good, because then you will get better the more you do it. But neutral or better means that you're more likely that all of your body is going to do it. So it could be that the kind of language people use to me is, actually, I feel hopeful, or I feel curious to see how it's going to go. And so they're not excited necessarily as they would be with something they're good at, but they actually think, oh, okay, let's just see what happens here. Picking up the phone or doing the presentation, or, you know, it's not about being perfect. It's about being you.
And being, absolutely. And getting a different result. I love that. That's a really neat piece of state shift. It's not about the content, folks. It's about how you're feeling. Leigh, that was fantastic. Thank you ever so much. I mean, I think we need I'll say this to a lot of our guests, but we need a round 2. We definitely need a round 2. And we're running out of time, but I just wanted to say, folks, look, we've got a freebie coming up here. And let me just bring up Leigh's book here. We could listen to you all morning, I'm sure, but we're running out of time.
I could talk about it all day.
Oh, I know. And particularly this whole thing about growth mindset, shifting our state of mind, massively important for sales or for any walk of your life. But, you know, Leigh's book is called Grow Your People, Grow Your Sales, Creating a Winning Growth Mindset. And, you know, it's also about, are you a frustrated sales leader? Do you wish your team would embrace more of the right behaviours? You know, do they know what to do? And how to do it, and how they can train themselves to do that. And that's all about this mindset growth piece. So Chris says, you didn't say that to me. Yeah, I'm learning, Chris. Chris was on the show a few weeks ago. So lovely. So, and then actually, look, we've got a freebie coming up. So Leigh, talk us about this quick freebie quickly for us. You know, what are you offering here?
Because I love you all, and I love sharing this mindset stuff with everyone who will listen. I think the more people with a growth mindset in the world, the happier and more contented we will all be. I am going to give away to the first 5 people to write in the chat, yes, please, I'd like a book. I'm going to send you a copy of my book that I will sign. And so you'll have an insight into the darkest corners of my mind and how I help other people to shine the light on the good stuff in their mind.
I love that, shine the light. So first 5 people, folks, put your request right now into the chat bar, into the comments field.
We already have one. Well done, Graham, for being the first. What a man of action. Woo!
Graham is always the first. He is brilliant at that. And Paul,
Thank you.
There you go, brilliant. And Dr. Julian Nesbitt, go for it. Yeah, okay, brilliant. So thank you, Dr. Julian. Great to have you on the show. There's room for one. Is there one more? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's one more. Oh, we got 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, Andrew's got it. So there we go. But I'm sure, I don't know. You're going to have to plead then, Jack, with what the jumper says.
I want the jumper. Yeah, Chris James wears the best shirts.
Doesn't he just?
He's got fantastic shirts. Yeah. When I met Chris, I said, you just wear the best shirts.
Yeah.
He wants my jumper. I don't think you'll fit into it, Chris.
Yeah. And a Blue Peter badge as well. So, in fact, we've got 7 here. I don't know how far you want to go here. So.
Well, look, what you can do for those of you that weren't in the top 5, you can follow me on LinkedIn. I'm giving this advice on LinkedIn all the time. And if for those of you that are 6 and onwards, well, maybe you could send me a little LinkedIn message to say why you actually deserve a book, why I should give you a book, even though you're not in the top 5. Sell yourself to me and let's see what happens.
So, why do I want this book? There you go, Carol. There's a thought for you. So, yep. You're brilliant at that, Carol. Go on, see if you can squeeze a free book out of Leigh. That'll be fantastic. So, look, listen, we could talk to you all day. I hope you found that useful, folks. Thank you ever so much, Leigh, for your just a fantastic session today. So much interaction. If you need any further advice on sales and coaching, contact Leigh directly. Her details are in the post. We've just put her website details in, I think, and her contact details. Thanks again, Leigh, for unpacking your book. We loved having you on the show.
Thank you. It was great. I love all this interaction.
Oh, it's good fun, isn't it? And drum roll, folks, drum rolls. As I said earlier, the show now replays on podcasts. Yeah, you can catch us up on anchor.fm and on Spotify, and we're going to more channels as we speak. This show will be in the lineup very shortly after this show. Please also join in the LinkedIn Leaderslive group, folks, to keep the conversation moving over there. So you can flip over to the Leaderslive group. If you're not there yet, Birding will put the link in the description. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. I'd really, really appreciate that. And if Birding can add that again to the link, that'll be really, really useful. Thank you. Just before I get on to what's happening next week, folks, a quick word on the purpose and why with Leaderslive. Why do we do Leaderslive? And it all starts with the passion that you are more than you think. And we're also building community here, folks. That's why you guys have just been great supporting this whole show. And thank you for being part of it. This is something we're doing together. And this is particularly relevant to building back better businesses and better people, that whole grow your people, grow your sales thing, grow your business, that we've really been coming out for the last 2 years, folks. So that's why I do this. And so Leaderslive is my freely available edutaining expression of this. Anybody can join in, folks, and enjoy taking part in extraordinary conversations that we've just had today with Leigh. And the maxim is I to the power of we. And look, these simple ideas, we aim to make a difference and make the world better too, folks. So, we want a spirit of freedom, of joy, of fun, and this feel-good factor. And I think that's really, really important. So a quick bit on what I do professionally. You can contact me for keynote speaking. I speak about growth mindset. I speak about high-performance teamwork. I speak about business change, and my company PDX boosts your business success through developing high-performing teams and leadership programs. You can hire me as an experienced executive coach as well. And lastly, I run a subscription-based community called Inspired CEOs. So those are all sorts of things that you can check me out on and get in contact with me too. So, and you'll find you know where to find me. So that's absolutely fine. So, quick thought on where we're heading. Let's look at the goose for next week. So next week's Leaderslive, we're back in our usual Tuesday's the usual spot, 15th of February at our usual time of 8:45. We'll be hanging out again with Colonel David Bramble, and we're going to talk about the importance of storytelling in business. Ooh. And David was on the show way back in August, and this is a round 2, so we'll be chatting about learning from making change to make it easier to get our heads around change, and storytelling is really good for that. So be there or be square. So that just remains for me to wrap up today, and I just wanted to say we've really enjoyed having you, Leigh. Thank you, Leigh and Birding, for being on the show, and every one of you here today. We wish you a great week ahead. Hope you enjoy the outro music. It's going to take us weeks to clear up all this confetti. So that's all for now, folks. See you again next week. Ta-ra for now. Cheers, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Cheers,
Bye.
everybody. Bye-bye.